Happy Friday, everyone. Hope you've had a good week so far. I've been talking a lot about technology and Apple and metaverse and all these different things that are coming up in the world these days. And this video is something that I actually wanted to make for a while, but the topic is one of those things where even I'm still trying to get my head around it. I mean, if there are, I'm sure there are experts on this topic. So if there are others, once you see this video, if you want to, enlighten me a little bit more, please do. It would be much appreciated. But tonight we're going to talk about NFTs, right? So these days, everybody and their mother, that you talk to is talking about, oh, NFTs, non-fungible tokens, whatnot. But then, unfortunately, most people can't really kind of articulate what exactly they are. So here's my stab at it, at least based on the stuff that I've read so far. Interestingly, in the world of marketing, right? So these days, a lot of the marketing, and digital, kind of go hand in hand. But marketing is one of those things that it constantly keeps changing. It constantly, evolves. And with new ideas, it keeps evolving. There are so many tech transformations and changes around the world. So at first it was like newsprint, TV, radio. You had all billboards, so on and so forth. But then when social media came in, that was like I mean, the biggest thing that everybody, just ran towards, right? And of course, it works. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And, there was an exponential, potential when they first came in. And now, you kind of see it with TikTok and Facebook and all these other things. So, and now it's almost a given that any brand that if you want it to be taken seriously around the world, you got to have a social media presence, right? So and that kind of began about let's say 10 years ago, right? So this is circa 2011 or so when the whole social media thing started picking up. And now the next biggest thing that everybody seems to be running towards is NFT. So these non-fungible tokens, it's think of it as a digital asset, kind of like crypto. The only difference is with crypto, you can actually um, trade crypto for other crypto with the same value, right? But with NFTs, even though it's a digital asset, you can trade it for anything of, well, another NFT with the same value, because they're all unique. It's not like all bitcoins have the same value, or ethereum, all of them have the same value, or whatever it is. So every NFT is unique, and it comes with a digital certificate of ownership, which makes it unique, right? So that is one major difference. And of course, underlying technology is blockchain, just like with crypto. So it makes it secure. It helps you store it. You can move it around as easily, without much trouble. So, in terms of what this can do for you in terms of marketing, you can use it right now to create, brand awareness, to generate interest, from customers, better, customer engagement, creating, better user experience, and of course, most importantly, which is brand presence. So you can use this to build, a brand identity, right? So just like how it became extremely important that you had to have a website for your product, or your organization. You had to have your social media handles, of course, with social media channels you wanted to play with, kept changing, or as new kids on the block kept coming in, you just kept expanding. So you had the traditional, YouTube, you had Facebook, Um, you have TikTok now. So there are, so different, and depending on which target segment is that you're actually catering to, there are different Snapchat for that matter. There are different pages that you can go after. So it looks like NFTs are having the same kind of hype that social media, generated, 10 years ago, and it just became, the norm. By the looks of it, NFTs also look like they are going to be the norm. You know, if I was a brand, I would be able to create, a collectible item, a digital collectible item, and you can kind of create a community around it, right? So any vision of yours, any identity, whatever it is, you can infuse it in this NFT, and you can either gift it or sell it to your target audience, to create your brand presence, right? Like let's take for example, I personally love cars. One of my most favorite cars of all time is the Porsche 356B from the 1960s. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to own one. They're just crazy expensive now. But guess what? Maybe in some crazy world, especially with all this talk about metaverse and something like that, I might be able to live my life online, kind of like the Matrix, right? And in that Matrix, I want to be able to drive, a 356B. Um, uh, so you know what? I could purchase a digital version of that, which I can only use online. Or say, for example, there are some pairs of shoes that I had in the past, which got worn out and they don't make them anymore. If I was a brand, and I mean, I'm in my 40s now, so I have a lot of nostalgic value for certain types of sneakers and whatnot. Maybe I could purchase these things online, right? So I mean, if you really think about it, so any product any company ever developed or is about to develop or is in the process of developing can be converted into a digital asset or an NFT, right? It could be shoes, clothes, jewelry, watches, laptops, PCs, cars. I want to, I guess Bombardier, has the G700 now. No, the Global 7500, which is like the most amazing private jet in the world. Hey, I want to have one. I can't own one in the real world. In the digital world, I could. So literally, the list is endless. And interestingly enough, some companies have actually started, really getting into this hardcore. Like if you look at Coca-Cola or, Marriott or, um, Marvel or McDonald's, they've all been creating kind of these NFTs online, and they've been testing out customer engagement on these NFTs, by using it as a marketing tool. So you can Marriott, created NFTs that were talking about travel stories and experience to promote their own travel program. And these I think three people won them along with a whole bunch of Marriott Bonvoy points, right? So I think going forward, you can see brands can actually use the value of NFTs to strengthen their relationship with their existing customers and obviously bring in newer ones. So you can sell, reward, gift, themed NFTs. So, I mean, literally at this point now, your creativity is completely endless, and you can come up with amazing new strategies to market your products using these NFTs, right? And if you look at that entire marketing funnel, you create that buzz, you create that curiosity, you create that interest, and then slowly you take them through that entire process. At the end of the day, for them to consume your product, consume your goods, or purchase your products, and just be in your own product universe, so to speak. So that's another one of those things that it seems like it would possible. So every product or every organization, once they get into this whole metaverse, NFT, kind of space, um, you can base it, so every object can have its own universe, right? I hope that that's kind of making sense. I mean, it is to me, but then I don't know if it's coming out right. And one of the other things that if you really think about is, let's take luxury manufacturers for example, right? So um, counterfeiting is an extremely huge problem. I mean, it's a multi-billion dollar industry, and you have different levels of fakes, right? So now the good thing is, because this is riding on blockchain, every digital asset has its own unique identity, so you can really counterfeit it. um, and it's you give a digital certificate of ownership, which I mean, like I said, it's completely unique. So marketing doesn't really follow rules as such. New trends keep on coming, and that's the reason why, when you really get into it, you're always looking for new ways of creating buzz, creating interest, and trying to engage with your customers. And right now, for NFTs, it seems like, I mean, it might still be in its infancy, but because a lot of people understood the power of social media back then, it took companies or products, let's say about 5 to 6 years to actually grab onto the power of social media. But this time around, I think there are a lot of lessons learned from that, that a lot of people are not even waiting, as soon as it came out, like everybody is getting into the NFT game. And, it also seems like, as long as, you have the hype and you can actually generate some significant income out of it. In fact, if you look at people, I mean, this guy used to create. Well, I think he still does digital, art, right? And one of his paintings actually sold for about $60 million. A digital painting sold for $60 million. That's the kind of craze that's associated with NFTs right now. And considering its infancy, the possibilities seem, endless. And guess what? This video that I'm recording, I could convert this into an NFT too. Who knows? If I ever become, some sort of LinkedIn influencer, I could, probably auction it off, or sell it off to somebody saying, "Hey, this was the first time I talked about NFTs." So, just some food for thought on a Friday night. Wish you all a very happy weekend. We'll see you in the next video. Good night.